live button.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, we are live.
Yeah. Hi, Saket. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. So we already have a few students who have already joined us here. So hi, everyone right there on YouTube. How are you all? Let us know. So there are, oh my God, so many people. So good afternoon. Is it a great afternoon at your place too? How's the weather at your end? Are you all ready for a power packed session with Saket today?
Hopefully it's power packed, ma'am.
Yes,
It's a
absolutely.
lazy Friday afternoon. So the
It is a
weekend
late.
mode.
Yes, but then the topic is really, I think the topic is something that everyone would like to know about and talk about. So, real cost to study abroad, fee, living expenses, earnings, everything. I think people would definitely want to know. Yes, Rahul. Hello, Rahul. How are you doing? So, guys, how excited are you for today's session? Do you also have jitters when we talk about the finances for studying abroad? It's a hot topic. So I guess everyone should be shaken from their sleep, slumber, the afternoon siesta. Please come out of it and let us know how you are. Too warm. Okay, mom says it's too warm. Yes, it is very warm and we are all in the ACs. And as Akit says, it's a lazy afternoon. So do you also feel it's a lazy afternoon? I'm not feeling it so today because I'm here with you all. What do you all say?
I'm lazy, like I'm totally lazy today.
So let's ask a few questions, good nice questions to Saket today. What do you have prepared? Have you all prepared questions to ask today regarding the finances? Saket, so what are we doing in today's session?
Ma'am, so actually this session is all about basically the finance part. Like you said, we're going to talk about the real cost to study abroad. Why I call it real? Because I'm trying to get as precise figures as possible. So yeah, something like, we'll be discussing the tuition fee in various countries. We'll be talking about living expenses. We'll be talking about how much you can earn part-time. And then we'll be talking about some scholarship and other funding options, which can be beneficial in case you're looking to study abroad. And plus, of course, we'll be taking live questions from the audience as we go. Try and answer as many queries as we can, because I think that's what the session is aimed at, answering questions to people. And plus, before we start, there is this comment which is pinned in the chat box. You can sign up with LeapScholar for a free one-on-one call. And in case you want to get a detailed counseling session with our experts, you can do that. So the link is in the chat box. You can sign up.
So Parth says hot topic for a hot day. Yes, it is a hot topic for a hot day. Hello, Simran. Hello, Rahul. Yes. So we are going to, as far as I remember, that we are going to discuss a few countries as well.
Yeah.
We are going to compare the cost for different countries. Are we?
4 countries, yeah. So basically, I've included the most popular countries here, which include the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand.
Right. Okay, yeah. So UK. So guys, make a note of it. UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. If you are planning for any of these countries, you are here. And I hope you're all making notes. And shall we be ready for the session? Shall we begin the session, Saket?
Sure, ma'am, we can.
Yeah. So going ahead with the next slide, that is tuition fee. The most important fee, yeah, or the finance that you mostly require for is the tuition fee, apart from considering that's the major cost.
Right. So guys, before we start, in case you need, in case you want, you can take notes as well, or maybe you can take screenshots, so that once you sit down with your calculations, these slides will be very, very handy for you guys.
Right.
So
right.
To start with, we'll start with the UK, which is again one of the most popular countries for Indian students right now. So for a bachelor's degree, which is 3 years in the UK, so like I think I've already kind of explained it in the previous sessions as well, that UK is one of the few countries wherein you also get a bachelor's in engineering for 3 years as well, as compared to other countries such as Canada. So right. A bachelor's degree in the UK will be for 3 years, and an average fee you can expect is around 9 to 20,000 pounds, which will be around 9 to 20 lakh rupees per annum. And the total fee for 3 years, including a bachelor's degree in engineering, will cost you somewhere between 27 to 60,000 pounds, which will be around 27 to 60 lakh rupees. So that's an average cost you can expect in the UK. However, there will be few universities, especially the really top 10 universities like Oxford, Cambridge. They can be a little bit more expensive, but otherwise, this is the generalized, I would say, range you'll find in most universities in the UK. And
I think 9 to 20 lakh is pretty reasonable in that case.
It is definitely reasonable if you compare it to other countries. And plus, I think, ma'am, for UK, the overall cost to go study for a bachelor's degree kind of goes down because the duration of degree is shorter as compared to say Canada.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think we did get a few questions on MBBS in the last sessions as well.
Yes, so, we did.
Yeah, so UK is one country where you can go for a MBBS straight after your 12th, which is not possible in countries like Canada, because in Canada you would need to go for a Bachelor of Sciences and then you can go for a medicine program. And again, in Canada, there are very few universities that will offer medicine program to international students. So technically, studying medicine in Canada would be really, really expensive. And Australia as well, for that matter. Australia, you can go directly after your 12th as well. But again, you would need to appear for certain examinations for that, like UCAT or BMAT are the major ones. Coming to the master's degree, I think this is where the UK has edge over all other countries, because UK is one country wherein the master's is just 1 year, right? So average cost is 12 to 35,000 pounds per annum. And obviously the total fee, because it's a 1 year program, so it stays 12 to 35,000, which is 12 to 35 lakhs. So this is where I would say this is real value for money. Like, ma'am, I think if you talk about colleges like King's College or Manchester, University of Manchester, University of Nottingham, Durham, all these universities are like world top 100 universities. Studying at one of these universities and get a degree, getting a master's degree for under 35 lakhs is a very, very big thing. Big thing. It's totally value for money.
Correct. Yes. So I think this then, because this really becomes, even in my classes when we are discussing on the master's degree and all, I think this is one of the major points that we discuss, that it's just 1 year and it becomes really pocket friendly by considering that the fee ranges from 12 to 35 lakhs. Otherwise, it's not possible in other countries where master's degree is for 2 years and we have to spend. And again, the other expenses would also pile up, for example, the living cost and everything, apart from the tuition fee. So this becomes the most reasonable from the best of the universities in the world. So yes, but before we go ahead, Saket, I have a question that is coming from Aaron. So it's an interesting question. I just got into 11th standard and I want to get into the CS program, but my past 2 years I have been drowned in Corona batch. So I don't have much of a profile. Is it still possible for me to build a good profile?
Yeah. So I think you're in 11th standard, Aaron. I think 11th is an ideal time to start building your profile. And if you want to go for a CS program, try and get some internships or something which are aimed at school students. You can participate in extracurriculars. Maybe you can, one of my students, he just got into Waterloo and Imperial College as well in London. So what he did was usually, kind of volunteer with some NGOs. He also got some publications. So try and build your profile. 11th standard is okay. It's not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. However, do note that some, if you're looking at UK, some universities, the top ones may look at some sort of exams. Like I think Imperial College would want an MAT exam, but not all of them. So I'm not really sure which university you're wanting to go to, but it's not too late. You're on the right track. Don't worry.
Right. Yeah. Yes, Rahul, we are going to address your question too. You have questions, scholarships and all. So we are going to address these questions on scholarships in the later slides. Astromaniac, I am looking for Hertfordshire University through LeapScholar Counselling. My course is 2 years. What would be the accommodation and other expenses? So yes, that's going to be covered in the next slide. So yes, please stay there.
Right. Yeah. Can I answer this question now?
Yes, absolutely. Right?
Yeah. So Hertfordshire, this is the same university I also did my bachelor's from.
Wow.
So I can guarantee you it's a very, very good uni. The best part is it's located very close to London and at the same time not in central London. So it will save you a lot of cost because it's cheaper to live in Hatfield, where the main campus is located. And I would say ideally, in Hatfield, the expenses are not very high. And you can get, I think, the total cost would be almost, I would say, 30 to 35% less than living in London. So technically, it would be very, very cheap to live in Hatfield. And you do get all the stuff. It's a very small town, but you do get all the stuff you need. So they have big supermarkets. You have Indian grocery stores as well. And in case you want to travel to London, it's just 20 minutes by train.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
very
cool.
Convenient.
So it's just like living in a suburb rather than just,
Yeah.
you won't call it outskirts, like you're just very
Right.
close to the city. So that's a good one. I think your question has been answered. So we talked about UK and all the benefits of studying in the UK, especially considering the tuition fee. So that we move to Australia.
Yeah, so I'll quickly cover Australia so that I can answer a lot of other questions as well. So a bachelor's degree in Australia would be generally expensive because Australia is deemed an expensive country to study. But again, you can get 3-year options and 4-year options both. Some engineering degrees will be 4 years. So on an average, this is a 3-year cost I'm talking about. 20,000 to 45,000 Australian dollars per annum. 45,000 would be a top ranking university like UNSW or University of Melbourne. Total fee would be $60,000 to $135,000, which will be around 33 to 72 lakhs. So a little bit more than the UK, but again, it will also depend on the kind of university you're studying at. Degrees like medicine, dentistry, and veterinary sciences will be expensive, and they are for 5 years. So technically, you can count accordingly. For masters, Australia does offer 1-year masters, 1.5-year masters, and 2 years masters as well. But to get a post-study work in Australia, you have to study for at least 2 years. So that's a government mandate.
Right.
So on an average, you can expect to spend $46,000 to $90,000 total fee for 2 years, which will be around 26 to 48 lakh rupees. So bit higher. I'll not say bit higher, but quite higher than the UK. So that's why I say UK is more value for money proposition for master's degree.
Wonderful. Yeah, so that's correct. And shall we move to Canada, New Zealand before you take the questions?
Right, ma'am. So Canada, because Canada is a very flexible country that way, because you do get a lot of options like degrees and diplomas. So try to include both here. Bachelor's is usually 4 years. And if we talk about per annum, it will be around 20 to 40,000. And total fee for 4 years will be around $80,000 to $160,000, which will be 44 to 88 lakh rupees. Master's degrees, on the other hand, will be 2 years. Average cost per annum would be 10 to 25 lakhs, depending on which university you study at. And the total fee for 2 years can range anywhere between 20 to 50 lakh rupees. There are some programs in Canada wherein you can get a full program under 20 lakh rupees as well, like the MBAs in certain universities. But again, there are a few exceptions. Next up, UG diploma, which is a 2-year diploma and very, very popular with students from India who do not want to go for a bachelor's degree. So colleges are cheaper. So somewhere around, I would say 7 to 10 lakh rupees per annum, which is again, a very, very good value for money proposition. And the total program for 2 years is going to cost you 14 to 20 lakh rupees at the stretch. PG diplomas almost similar, but they tend to be a little bit on the higher side because the PG level program. So I would say 12 to 21,000 per annum. And the total fee would be 24 to 42,000 Canadian dollars for 2 years, which will be 14 to 24 lakhs. However, PG diplomas are also available for 1 year. So if you're going for a 1-year program, you can divide this value by 2. So that will be your cost for 1 year.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So shall we continue with New Zealand as well?
Yes. That's what I wanted to say.
Because I don't want to kind of, just going through the slide and take more questions. Cool. So moving on to New Zealand. New Zealand sounds, a lot of consultants will tell you, okay, it's a cheap country to study, but it's not. And why I can say that? Because I've lived there. I did my master's from New Zealand. So yeah, I can guarantee it's not very cheap. It is expensive. So it's almost, I would say, it will cost you as much as studying in, say, UK. Uh, Per annum fee for a bachelor's degree can be anywhere between 15 to 30,000 New Zealand dollars, which is 7.5 to 15 lakh rupees. And the total degree, which is for 3 years, will cost you around 22.5 to 45 lakh rupees. Generally, it's on the higher side because the bachelor's degrees, are offered by some polytechnic institutions as well. Universities tend to be more expensive. And with New Zealand, they only have 8 universities in total all over the country.
Oh.
So the competition is also intense
Correct.
to get into a university.
Right. So guys, please keep this in mind.
Yeah. So master's degrees, 18 to 35,000 per annum, and for 2 years, 36 to 70,000, which is around 18 to 35 lakh rupees, which again sounds cheap on paper, but again, this is the average. I'm telling you, if you go to a higher ranked university like Auckland or Otago, it can be more expensive. UG diplomas are there, 2 years if you want to go for 14 to 20,000, which are at par with Canada, I would say, 7 to 10 lakh rupees per annum. And the total course will cost you around 14 to 20 lakhs. Similarly, your PG diplomas can be 1 year or 2 year as well sometimes. So a 1 year will cost you half of 2 years. And for 2 years, you can expect to spend around 18 to 23 lakh rupees. So that's the average cost.
Right. So, yeah. So Canada, New Zealand, UK, and Australia. But before we start taking up the questions, I have a question for the students here, or all those who are participating. The one who answers first will be the person whose question will be answered first. So let's see how many of you are answering this question first. Which of these countries offer 1 year masters? Which one? So based on who answers first, I'll take up the questions. So till then, we can just wait. We have a lot of questions coming from Simran, Viraj, Shabib. Okay. So who's answering first?
What if the answer is incorrect?
If the answer is incorrect, then we'll take the question at the end. Which of these countries? That means they're not paying attention, first of all. They need to pay attention in order to go to countries where being attentive to details is really important. All of the above. Monesh says all of the above. Genesis. Okay. Sky Genesis says 1. It's not 1, right? It is A, guys. So being an educator, I wouldn't take even that as a correct answer because its option is A. It's not even 1. Yes. So guys, who have answered first? Genesis, do you have a question? Shrishti.
Right. I think, ma'am, the right answer, shall we declare the right answer?
Yes, absolutely.
So I think Munesh can ask his question. It's D, all of the above. So UK has 1 year masters. Australia, I did tell you that Australia also offers 1 year masters. And Canada, there are a lot of programs, MIMs and the MBAs and the executive MBAs, which are 1 year. So yeah, right. Canada also offers 1 year programs.
But we don't have a question from Monesh. Monesh, do you have a question? We would like to take your question first, but he doesn't have a question so far. So we'll take up someone else. Right, the rest are not correct. The rest are not correct at all, except for Parth Patel. Parth, do you have a question? Parth doesn't have a question either. Okay.
So we'll typing as well.
Okay. Can I study in UK after my 10th standard in India?
I would advise you go for UK after 12th only. See, it's very expensive to study abroad. Yes, there are schools available for international students. You can get enrolled, but again, does not make sense.
Right. Okay. So the next question that I'm going to take up is, can a 3-year BSc degree student in India is eligible for PG diploma in Canada?
Yes, Vinay, you can. 3 year is totally fine for a PG diploma.
Right. And we also have a few more questions. I'm going to take this question from Rohan. I received an offer from Exeter for MSc Finance, but rankings say Strathclyde. Is that how you pronounce? Is better for finance.
Strathclyde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which one should I choose and why?
Exeter is a Russell Group university and Strathclyde is not. See, I understand Strathclyde has a better ranking in terms of business school, and Exeter, I would say it's not as highly ranked as Strathclyde is. But I think if you're looking within the UK and globally, Exeter, being a Russell Group university, carries more weightage. Uh, so both universities, I'll not say choose one or choose this one. Both are equally good. But from my perspective, if I had to choose, I'll choose Exeter because it's a Russell Group university. And they're obviously because they carry more reputation in the market generally.
So Gagandeep is asking, on an average, how much tuition fee is for 2 years masters in CS in Canada?
Gagan, it will depend on which university you go to, but you can expect somewhere around, for CS, you can expect somewhere around 20 to 25K for a decent university. But if you talk about really top ranking ones, it can go higher.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So shall we then go to the next one? We are going to talk about the living costs. So now we have talked about the tuition fee. Now we come to the living cost in all these 4 countries, starting with UK again.
Right. So you can take a screenshot, like I said. So technically, the British High Commission recommends £10,000 on an average as a living cost. But again, it can vary from 10 to 12,000 pounds per annum, depending on where you live and how you live and how much you spend. So on an average, I would say for a bachelor's degree, you can set aside around 30 to 36 lakh rupees for the whole program. If you don't work at all. And for masters, it will be 10 to 12 lakh rupees. Again, it depends on how much you spend. And obviously, I'm not factoring in your air tickets here. So air tickets would be additional and your IHS will be different, which is the immigration health surcharge. For Australia, the number is pretty similar, I would say. But again, Australia tends to be a little bit more expensive in terms of groceries in general. Because of its geographical location, and it takes a lot of time to kind of transport things because they do import a lot of eatables. So New Zealand and Australia, the cost of groceries, ma'am, is a little bit higher. So that's from my personal experience. Yeah. So even the milk and everything, it's like you find milk in UK, which is like very cheap prices, but in Australia or New Zealand, it tends to be a little bit more expensive. So yeah, I would say 12 lakh rupees is something you can expect, and 36 lakhs for your bachelor's, and for masters, you can expect somewhere around 24 lakh rupees to be spent over the period of 2 years for master's degree.
Right. So that was for UK and Australia. Let's also quickly take up Canada and New Zealand, and then we'll take up some questions from the students.
Yeah, for Canada, $10,000 is something which the Canadian High Commission recommends in terms of GIC, but again, the actual cost may go higher. So I have factored in around $10,000 to $15,000 as a living cost per annum on an average. So for a bachelor's degree, which is for 4 years, you can expect 22 to 34 lakhs. For a master's degree for 2 years, you can expect to spend around 11 to 17 lakh rupees. For UG diplomas and PG diplomas, which are for 2 years, you can expect to spend 11 to 17 lakh rupees. And if you do a 1-year PG diploma, you can divide this figure by 2. So you can get, it will be 5.5 to 8.5 lakh rupees. And for New Zealand, $15,000 is something which is recommended, and I think it's decent money. If you want to live in New Zealand, 15,000 is okay, because I've also lived in New Zealand. So I think it's a pretty decent figure you can expect to spend. For a bachelor's degree, which will be of, I think I've made an error here. The total living for a bachelor's degree would be 7.5 into 3, not 4. So I think I multiplied by 4. So it will be 22.5 lakh rupees. That's a typo there.
Yeah. So this one, right?
So it's 22.5.
Okay. So I'll just write it down over here so that there's clarity.
Right. So it's 22.5 lakhs for a bachelor's degree. For a master's, which is for 2 years, 15 lakhs. UG diploma, 2 years, 15 lakhs. And PG diploma, if it's for 1 year, then 7.5 lakhs. If it's for 2 years, then 15 lakhs. Depends on how many, what's the duration of the course.
Wonderful. So if I consider all the 4 countries, the living cost in New Zealand and Australia remains on the higher side compared to UK and Canada.
I think, ma'am, Canada would be the cheapest here in terms of affordability. But again, Australia, it's very interesting to know that Australia is also one of the countries where the part-time earnings are very, very high. So you earn more. Yeah, but you earn more, but again, the expenses are more as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
a lot of calculation is required.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, this is basic what you need to know about the living cost, based on which you can make your own question. You can frame your own setup, or find out how much would it cost to you. So we have a lot of questions now. We'll take up one question that is coming from Nisha, that what are the chances of a BTech graduate with 82% from a top university without any research experience, but having 2 years of work ex in the same field of getting into the Ivy League universities?
Right. So 82% is a good percentage. So Nisha, Ivy Leagues not only just look at your percentage, but your overall holistic profile. So if you're looking at getting into an Ivy League, your work ex will definitely factor in. But again, at the same time, I think a lot of extracurriculars also make your profile stronger. So I would say try and kind of volunteer more, get into some charity activities, get some online certifications, get some internships. Sorry, you're already working, so internships are not required. Maybe you can work on independent projects. If you want to get some publications done, do that. I think that will overall enhance your profile. Overall, and obviously there would be a lot of Ivy League schools that will also require you to get GRE or GMAT scores. That will depend on which school you're applying to. So yeah, all these factors count in. Otherwise, with 80% you have, I think you're good to go and apply. But again, you have to work on your overall profile. And plus your strong SOP and LORs also play a lot of,
a major role
emphasis.
In the entire,
major role. Like I said, it's a total lazy day for me.
Yeah, I get it. So, Saket, but I'll tell you, we have an interesting question. Funny though interesting. If I get a loan from Leap Finance, does it impact my visa rejection?
Why would loan will not matter to your visa application at all. Your visa gets rejected because either your profile is not relevant, or you have some documents are not in place, or the SOP is not properly elaborated upon, or maybe especially for Canada, it's like, it's like your chosen course is nowhere related to your background. So visa does not depend on your loan. So if your loan is sanctioned, it's sanctioned. The embassy or the High Commission is not interested with, who are you taking
until and
from.
Unless you're paying the fee. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
So Simran is asking, can a fresher offer an MBA in Canada?
Fresher, Simran, I have one option for you. You can try University of, I think, whether it's University of Fraser Valley or Thompson Rivers University. Out of these two universities, one offers MBA to freshers. I'm not really sure, I'm forgetting.
Yukta is asking UK versus Germany in ranking for MIM.
UK would be a better option for MIM, because UK is one country where MIM was, I would say, invented.
Okay. So we have another question from Jasnoor, who's asking for biotechnology or biological sciences, which is better, USA or Canada?
I would rate both equally, but in terms of if you want to settle down and live abroad, as in like want to get a PR or something, I think Canada is easier than the UK, than the US. UK, both actually.
Okay. Another question I have that I'm going to take from Mohammed Zubair is, Northeastern University in the US is a huge brand, but what about the same in Canada? Northeastern.
It's equal. No, Northeastern, they do have Canadian, what do you call, campus as well. So you can be rest assured it's a very, very good uni, even in Canada.
Right. University of Bath versus Strathclyde versus Loughborough. for MIM?
Bath, Strathclyde, Loughborough. Loughborough is more, I would say, oriented towards engineering and sciences programs. So I'll not choose Loughborough for sure. My preference would be Bath and then Strathclyde, although I think Strathclyde is better ranked in terms of business courses. But I would still choose Bath because it carries a very great reputation, because I've lived in the UK, so I understand, it carries very, very good reputation amongst employers.
Right. Rahul has been asking this for a long time. Can a student pay his education loan on his own? Actually means when he will get good job.
Yeah, you can. Who's stopping you?
Astromaniac is asking, how is Masters plus PhD research level in Hertfordshire University, since it's not part of Russell Group nor Ivy League?
See, Ivy League is anyway non-existent in the UK. Ivy League is for US schools. In UK, we have Russell Group. Again, Hertfordshire is post 1992 university. So I'll not say it's at par with Russell Group, but again, studying for a PhD in Hertfordshire is also pretty rewarding. And because I know a couple of people from Hertfordshire, because I've studied in that university, so who went on to do PhDs, and they've got the jobs within the UK as well. So yeah, one of my really good friends, she's from China, and she was with me, and she did her PhD from Hertfordshire. I left the university, and she's teaching at Hertfordshire right now in the business school.
Wow, that's nice. I'll take one question before we move to the next topic, and then again, they definitely will be taking up more questions. So Mesh is asking that view on, is it Keele?
Keele University.
Keele University and Glasgow, Caledonian.
Both are at par, as in I can't really choose between the both. However, Keele University, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a very funny name. British pronunciations, they're like weird. So Keele, I think it's Keele University, as far as I know. So Keele University is a little bit older, as in terms of it's more, it was established in I think, pre-1992. So it is like an older uni. However, GCU also carries a good reputation. But I think I'll still, if I have to choose, I'll choose Keele University, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just to make the things clear. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take up the next topic, and then we'll move again to the questions. The next topic is part-time earnings, which I think what Rahul had been asking, and a lot of students have been asking on part-time. How is it going to be like?
Right. So, ma'am, to start with, the figures here, which is the total earning, right? It does not include taxes. So some countries will require you to pay taxes.
Yes.
And because, there were some comments on my previous video that, sir, you didn't factor in the taxes. So now I just make it very clear in every session I take. So this is your earning. Your taxes are your personal liability. That's not my liability.
Right.
So I'm just telling you, okay, this is how much you'll earn, right? So yeah, these are all pre-taxes. Some Canada is very particular. Like obviously, I think you do have to file taxes and all that. UK not so much, but again, Australia, New Zealand not so much as well. But again, you can expect to earn this much at least.
Mm-hmm.
So per hour wage in the UK would be £8 per hour. That's the average which is going. In Australia, it's $19. Canada is around 15. New Zealand is around 17. So all four countries, you can work 20 hours a week part-time during your term time, and 40 hours during your vacations. And all three countries usually work on 9+3 model, which is 9 months to study and 3 months are vacations. Right. So I've calculated an approximate income when you work 20 hours per week for 9 months or 36 weeks. Right. So in the UK, you can expect to earn somewhere around 57, 60 pounds. Australia is around $13,000. Canada, 10,000. New Zealand, 12,500. Similarly, for 40 hours per week when you work full time for 12 weeks, this is how much you can earn. 38.40 in UK, 91.20 in Australia, 7,200 in Canada, and New Zealand around 81.60. So per annum, you can expect to earn around 9.5 lakhs in the UK, 12 in Australia, 10 in Canada, and New Zealand 10 as well. So this is an ideal case scenario. Ideal case scenario as in You land there, you get a job quickly, and quickly as in like maybe in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you get a job. And some for some people it takes time as well. Some people take 1 month as well. So this is an ideal case scenario when you work proper and you get a job quickly and you have a consistent job throughout your academic year. So getting part-time jobs is not very difficult anywhere. Like I got my first part-time job in the UK in just, I think, 1 week after landing there.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's not difficult at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't have skills that time. You know, I didn't have a degree or anything. So I got a job in Domino's for a caller, you know, taking orders.
Wow. So was that in your UG or?
UG, ma'am, UG, yes. So then I moved on to making pizzas as well. And then, so I used to get pizzas for like whenever I used to have shifts. I usually used to work like evening shifts. So I used to get pizzas for the dinner. Yeah. Then I got sick of Domino's like very much. I couldn't eat pizzas at all for like at least a year.
Because that's your dinner every day.
Every day almost, yeah.
Every day having a pizza. I don't think that I can have a pizza the third day, or on that matter, any dish I cannot repeat for the third day.
Yeah.
Having it for a long time, I really, really admire.
So I was working like 5 hours shifts for 4 days a week. So yeah, 4 nights a week, my dinner was pizza.
Yeah. Nice. Yes. So I know it depends. If you're working in an Indian restaurant, then maybe you can get Indian food. So
my friends used to work. And they used to get naans and dal makhnis and chickens and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes. So you can have friends who are working in different places, and then you all can touch, and it could be a pot party, and where you all get to eat a variety of food rather than having the same monotonous dish throughout the week. So that was all about part-time earnings. Now we are definitely going to have a question, and the one who answers first, I'm going to take their question first. How many hours you can work on campus in Canada during term time? So if you want your answers to a question to be answered, please be the fastest. It's like fastest fingers first. Who's coming up first?
Monish
already did?
Yeah, but he didn't ask the question either, like last time.
Yeah. So yes, Pavan, we are discussing these major countries as of now. Only study, yes. Only study. Do you have a question? Viraj, you need to answer the question first. I'll answer your question, but you need to answer my question first. Sony, yes. Sakshi, yes. Kai Genesis, Rahul, Nisha, Mohammed, Sheikh, very well. Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. So, Viraj, you need to answer my question in order for me to answer, for us to answer your question. Viraj Haldar. Yukta says 20, Simran says 20. Very well. Yes, shall we declare the answer?
Yes, only we got one correct answer, which is Sky Genesis. Answer is D, 40 hours.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't know that if you work on campus in Canada, on campus
then as in 40 hours.
Then you can work full time. Then there is no restriction as such.
So it is only off campus that you can work for 20 hours.
Yeah.
So you need to know that. So the question was on campus and it was not off campus, guys. So only question answered by only one person correctly, and that was Sky. But he doesn't have a question. So should we take up a few questions?
Sure, ma'am.
Yukta, okay. I had one question from Aishwarya, who is asking for PhD. So I'll take up her question first. That what about PhD? How much does PhD cost?
PhDs, Aishwarya, usually what happens is if you get into PhD, most universities will fully fund it. As in, they'll pay your tuition fee, they'll give you a living stipend. That's how usually PhDs work. But again, there would be some PhDs which will be paid if you want to fund them yourselves. That will vary from country to country, but on an average, it stays same around the master's cost. But I think most universities will pay you for a PhD.
Right. Zishan is asking which university is better in New Zealand, UOA or AUT for MS Construction Management?
University of Auckland, hands down. AUT is not a very, I would say, if in terms of universities, I think there are 4 universities in New Zealand you cannot go wrong with. One is Auckland, the second is Otago, then it's Canterbury, and then it's Victoria University, Wellington. So all 4, there are 8 universities, and out of these 4 universities are really good universities. I studied at Otago, so it's a very good uni if you want to check out. Canterbury is very good as well in Christchurch. Yeah, so any 4 of them.
Sakshi is asking, I received offer letter from University of East London. Is it a good university for MBA?
East London is a post-1992 university. It's a good university. Located very close to central London and very close to the financial district. And yeah, the university has great industry tie-ups. So good to go.
Tanisha's question is, do we counsel for work-related visa? So
not really.
No, we don't. Which university is better for food sciences, British Columbia or Dalhousie?
UBC always.
There you are.
There's no, I think this is not a valid question at all. Right. UBC is like top 100 globally, and Dalhousie is not even close. Although Dalhousie is pretty good in terms of the food sciences, but again, it's cheaper as well, but UBC can be more expensive.
Right. So finally, Monesh has asked a question. Can I get into Masters in UBC or SFU with 80% CGPA in bachelor's with 5 backlogs?
UBC or SFU with 80% is good. You qualify for it. But again, Monesh, what happens in UBC is so many qualified people apply, and even if you have a small issue in your application, it kind of affects your overall profile. However, with the kind of CGPA you have, I think SFU can be a good option. But again, UBC, I'm not really sure with 5 backlogs. Although Canadian universities, they're comfortable taking people with 5 backlogs, but again, UBC, solely because of the reputation they carry, it gets tricky.
Kirti Sharma, as mentioned, on-campus work. What kind of on-campus work can we get to do during the study?
On-campus work, Kirti, would be the university you're studying at, and particularly at the same campus you're studying at. So you can work in the library, you can work with the professor, with maybe handling his office or acting as an assistant or something. Then you can work on campus cafes or restaurants, or maybe you can work in a sports hall, or maybe the student union shop, or maybe the any convenience store or something. So anything and everything which is on campus, you can work there.
Rahul again has been asking, can a BCom graduate do a 1-year MBA in UK?
Yes, Rahul, BCom graduate, and MBA is anyway 1 year in the UK, so you can.
Yes. So we'll move on to our last part, which is scholarships and other funding options. So here, Viraj, we come to your topic, which you have been asking for a long time. But I hope whatever it is, you have to make notes, because later, sometimes you never know. You are planning for US, or maybe you are planning for UK, but we have some information on Canada, and some point of your entire application process, maybe you want to make some kind of a comparison, then this information is handy for you. So yes, now we come to all the questions on scholarships and funding options.
So scholarships, ma'am, it can range between 5 to 100% tuition fee waivers. So a lot of UK universities, including the Russell Group universities, will offer you 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 pound scholarship if you are accepted into a certain program. So again, possibilities are there. There was a question in the by someone about average scholarship in Australia. So Australia would also offer somewhere around 20% scholarship if you meet the entry requirements at most universities. Some universities may give you like $10,000 off as well. So I think UTS Sydney will give you, Deakin will give you, Latrobe will give you, then I think CQ will give you, Central Queensland University. Then University of South Australia would have some sort of scholarships. Swinburne would have some sort of scholarships around 20% again. And Australia is also very known for 100% scholarship as well, even at the UG level. They will be very competitive, but really good Australian universities like Monash, they also offer 100% scholarships. Deakin has a vice chancellor scholarship, which is for 100% as well. So again, the possibilities are there, but you cannot always rely on them. But yeah, if you have a decent score, some countries may offer you guaranteed scholarships like UK and Australia, but some countries will not, like Canada and New Zealand, they'll not.
Right.
Now, there are some scholarships which can be awarded after you start the course. So let's say you're doing good in university, you're performing really well. So after the first year result is announced, you may get a scholarship, or maybe you get a scholarship, halfway through your degree, something like that. So they are usually called meritorious scholarships. So when you're studying, the department may consider you for these. Then there are need-based scholarships. Need-based scholarships are for those people who cannot afford to study because of the high cost. So some universities will also offer need-based scholarship. And for that, you would have to establish that the family income is not up to that level. And they need some documentary evidence and everything. So once you provide that, you can apply for these scholarships. Again, it will vary from university to university, and a lot of universities in UK and in Australia also offer need-based scholarships.
Right.
Next up is the industrial placement degrees, which are in the UK. So at the bachelor's level, there are certain degrees which are for 4 years. So what happens in that degree is like you study for 2 years, work for 1 year, then study for 1 year, and then you complete your degree. And when you work for 1 year, that is a full-time paid work. So you do get experience, and you also get the chance to earn. So that's called a sandwich degree.
Right.
Similarly, they have a 2-year master's at the master's level, PG level, in which you study for 1 year and then you work for 1 year, and then you get paid for it. This is for UK. Some universities in Australia also offer it. Then we have co-op options, that is specific to Canada. Here as well, you can work between 3 months to 1 year as a part of your diploma or your degree, and you can earn. I know certain students who've earned more than $50,000 as well with their co-ops.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there are paid internships that you can do, and freelancing. I think it's one of the most in fashion thing these days. A lot of people, if you have right skills, you do digital marketing. If you work, you can. If you write, if you edit stuff, or you're a video editor, I think you can freelance as well. But again, some countries will be very particular about it, as in especially the UK. They're very particular. Canada has no issues as such, but UK will be very particular because when you are on a student visa, you cannot be freelancing at the same time. It is illegal. But yeah.
So many funding options. Rahul, you were asking about them. Aishwarya, you were asking about them. So we have the questions answered over here. If you have more questions on scholarships, we'll definitely love to answer those questions too. So I'm going to take up a few questions. One question that is coming from Parth Patel is, should I focus on rankings and curriculum of Canadian universities or the location where they are located? If my priority is great career and PR will come as its byproduct.
Parth, I think this is one of the, I think I'm really happy with this question, because I think you've given the answer in a question itself, right? So if your priority is your great career, PR will automatically be its byproduct. And I think it's, every time I speak to someone, like one-on-one, and, this is the first question I get, sir, PR milega, sir, PR milega. But it's just that people are so focused on their PRs that they do not focus on building up their profile and skills. So if you have the right skills, definitely you get the job. If you focus on your career, definitely you'll get the job. And once you get the job, PR is anyway the byproduct. PR is going to follow anyway. So don't worry. Don't worry at all. I think focus on your career, right? Location, and by, I don't know, like, I think you do have a great profile. I think so, looking at your comment here. But yeah, just focus on your career. And I think PR is, in Canada, it's very easy. If it was some other country, I would have, kind of discussed in detail. But in Canada, it's very easy. Don't worry.
Right.
Right track. Yeah.
Do US universities give 100% scholarship for UG international students? Sushma is asking.
Very, very rare. Very rare. I don't think so.
Hmm.
There's any. I'm not really sure, but I don't think so. There's any 100% scholarship. I know Australia does, but not US.
Yuvraj is again asking, I'm currently pursuing MBA, which would be completed in February 23. Then can I pursue diploma in project management 1-year course from Canada?
Yuvraj, with an MBA already, I think it is, you can pursue a program, but I think the visa will be tricky part. I would say go for another master's. But again, in that case as well, you will need a very, very solid statement of purpose that why are you doing another master's?
Right. Is Conestoga College good for UG programs?
Yes, Conestoga. I think I saw a lot of other colleges as well. Conestoga, Centennial, Seneca, Fanshawe, Nadan, Niagara, Langara. All these colleges are really, really good colleges, public colleges.
Nisha is asking that IELTS or TOEFL, which one for USA? I've seen some universities not accepting IELTS in US.
IELTS is more universally accepted. And let's say in case, you drop your plan of going to US and maybe moving to Canada, like applying to Canada, I think IELTS would be a better option overall, because in Canada, it's mandatory to have IELTS if you want to apply for student visa, like in under SPS.
Right. And then in case if she's targeting a few universities where TOEFL is considered, in that case, I think you can write TOEFL.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of people, they shift focus to Canada after some time.
Yes,
so this
absolutely.
This is an ongoing trend actually.
Yeah. Kokur is asking, what are the chances of getting scholarship more than 40% in USA or Canada for bachelor's in CSE or ECE for someone with an average percentage of 88% in 10th, 11th, and 12th?
Scholarships not just depend on your percentage. Yeah, it will depend on will depend on a lot of other factors. Your overall profile, the kind of work, the kind of let's say the kind of profile you have in terms of volunteering or internships or some extracurriculars you've done. Bachelors anyway, scholarships are very rare, right? So like I said, very few universities will offer scholarships at bachelor's level. But again, like I said, Australia has few options. Canada has Lester B. Pearson at University of Toronto. UBC has few scholarships. University of York has few scholarships. But again, they'll be very, very competitive.
Right. We have a question so that I think answers even the question that was posed by Rahul. Again, it was on scholarship and the question was the same. Tuma is asking, I don't know how to pronounce this university. Is Teesside, how do you pronounce it? In UK.
Teesside.
Okay. A good university to do masters in CS. Can you suggest few good affordable colleges?
I think Teesside is one of the most affordable universities in the UK. But if you want to look at other alternate options in the same range, then I think almost same range would be Sunderland, Birmingham City University, and Coventry University. Also, Teesside is not a bad uni; it's a good uni, but it's very, very affordable.
We have a nice question from Lakshman Singh. He's asking, sir, this is my last SEM for BSc CS and my last end semester exam is from 28th June. So I was thinking to apply for CA, that is diplomas in business field. So if I go for September 23 intake, will it show as a gap year?
It will not be a gap year, but I think if you're graduating, I would highly recommend that till the time you can also get some internships in between so that you can kind of fill your gap, because ideally you should go for January 23, but if not, I would say get some internships or something. That will be okay to kind of fill the gap.
It is this question that Arsh is asking for a long time. BBA 55%. It is not elite, it is IELTS, I guess you want to write. So correct spelling as it would be IELTS. 6.5 band. क्या मैं कनाडा से PG डिप्लोमा कर सकती हूँ?
Yes, 58%, 6.5 bands. You can, but make sure you have 6 overall in each. Some colleges will accept you with a 5.5 in one, but then you cannot apply under SDS. So it's always good to have 6.5 with 6. And 58% is decent. You can get into a PG diploma.
Shibi is asking, is SFU's professional CS really hard to get into? I have 87% in my UG, no backlogs.
87% in UG, you can also try better unis. No
He's
backlogs.
considering SFU itself to be hard. He's asking, is
SFU, ma'am, actually what happens is in Canada, the university numbers are pretty less, as in given the country is so huge, there are only like 90 to 100 universities.
Yes.
And the country is so popular that they get so many applications. So usme ye hota hai ki, even the good candidates somehow they get rejected sometimes. So I'll not say, see the kind of profile you have, like 87% without backlogs. I think SFU should be pretty easy cakewalk for you, given that you have good IELTS score and you meet all the entry requirements and you have some internships and online certifications. But again, I think you can also try in better universities as well, like Saskatchewan or Alberta or something. I'm not really sure if they offer programs in CS, but I think they do. They do masters in CS. Yeah.
Prakashan is asking, how do I get a direct job in abroad, if any chances? You need to apply for PR. Right?
How to get direct job?
In Canada without like rest of the things. Directly job in abroad. You need to apply for the job. You need to go for a PR.
Yeah. You need to apply for the job first. And if the employer is ready to sponsor you, then you can move.
Yes. Aditya Rao is asking, does any Ivy League college accept student with a gap year in between BTech with GRE, score of 315 plus and 2 years work experience?
GRE score is good. BTech, I'm not really sure how much percentage do you have. One gap year is okay, I think. A lot of students, I think, ma'am, there has been a trend wherein a lot of students do take a gap year. And you write a great SOP, I think. You can tell them.
Yes.
I've seen some students actually mentioning it in their SOP that they took a gap year to travel and to explore the world, to explore the passions and stuff. So I think
that's one of the questions in IELTS exam, which has been very popular, that some students prefer taking a gap year and some prefer so it's kind of what is better. So there's this question, actually an essay question based on this, exactly the same thing.
Yeah. 1 year, I don't see a problem at all. It's decent. Most countries are okay.
Yes. Lakshman Singh is asking if I do any online. So the question that he asked us earlier. So if I do any online internship, will it help me to cover that gap year? Also, does any type of social work like in NGOs or something else will boost my profile?
Definitely, yes, Lakshman.
And Ujjwal says that he has 90% in his 9th to 12th. So how much % of scholarship can he expect in Australia?
Right. So Ujjwal with 90% grades, I can tell you minimum to minimum, I'll say some universities will offer you 20 to 25% scholarship. And again, some universities may also offer more, but they would require separate application.
Right. Okay. So I think we have answered a lot of questions today as compared to when we were live last time. So we were able to address most of the questions. And for those whose answer you are looking for the answers, you can come in for a one-on-one counseling at LeapScholar, which is totally free. And the link for it is pinned here in the comments. You just need to go there, click and book a free session for yourself. So that was a wonderful session, Saket, and I hope everyone, though being a lazy afternoon, it was, I guess we could answer and address a lot of questions today comparatively.
So, but actually, awake for since early in the morning. So I think that's the whole reason I'm feeling very sleepy right now. But I
Right.
think it was a refreshing break for me now.
Yes.
Now I feel active and I can get back to work.
Yes. So thank you, Saket, for being here. And thank you, all of you all, for being here and asking all these questions. And yes, as I told you, that if any question is left unanswered, please do not forget to get a one-on-one free counseling from our counselors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.